Hello, Martin. How are you doing?
Thanks, good. It's great to have you here.
Yeah, you told me there's a new welding machine, I heard. Is that right?
Yes, we're replacing the piggywelder 3 Plus with the piggywelder 4, which has many new extensions and technical improvements.
What, for example, is different now?
The handpiece, for example, it has a much finer needle guide, and now I can really place the needle exactly on the spot where I want to weld.
I see. Sounds good. It worked well with the Piggy Welder 3 Plus 2, but now everything is much finer. So you don't have any sticking or anything like that anymore.
No, we've designed the control system so that we simply can't get stuck anymore. What the piggywelder 3 Plus still did, the piggywelder 4 doesn't do anymore.
And regarding the materials for welding, has something changed there too, I see now, or is that wrong?
No, that's correct. We have iron, aluminum, and copper. Additionally, we've now added bronze and copper tin alloys so that we can weld according to the specifications there as well.
Sounds good. And the operation, is it just as easy as before?
Yes, we've moved away from the whole touchscreen thing and are now using a one-handed joystick control where I can then adjust the parameters accordingly. Also, from that point, we can immediately set the welding speed, which I can choose freely as needed.
That means if I want to weld faster now?
I can do that right here in the front. With the other system, I had to go into the presets to change it there. Now I can do it directly during my welding process. Set it directly and say, I want to weld faster or slower.
Yeah, we actually have many molds in-house. And we do have problems with burn-in, especially where we have to polish with our TIG welding machines. How does it look there now?
We have improvements there too because we've put a better power curve into the device. That means we're now fine-tuning the parameters for the weld spot, for the melting in the substrate, as well as for the welding of the wire. And I can set that using the very simple parameters that I have as a pre-selection.
That sounds good, but everyone welds a bit differently. And if with many welding machines, there are so many settings and it's so difficult when you go back, and I'm not the only one who welds and then suddenly the settings don't fit.
Here we can now simply say, okay, I want to weld on a surface. Then I get a preset, 50% power, 4 milliseconds welding time. And I can now change this welding time up and down or accordingly into a longer welding process or a shorter time process to see exactly whether I'm achieving what I want to achieve. But that's a bit of a learning process. After all, we didn't learn how to drive in driving school either.
That means I see different symbols for exactly what I want to weld. I have the basic setting for it and can then also vary the basic setting a little bit.
Exactly. That means not every welding process depends on the same material. The hardness levels of certain tools, cutting and punching technology, the plastics industry, as well as the blow molding or glass industries have completely different hardness levels in the tools.
That's new to me. That means we also have a stamping shop in-house. Welding a cutting punch isn't possible because, I need that hardness too.
That's why we have our wire manufacturer who makes wires for us specifically for the area the stamper needs. And we can now offer wires up to 66 HRC, which then have the hardness he needs to repair and make the broken inserts, the cutting and punching dies. And that's in a range from 0.1 to 1 millimeter wire diameter.
That means the special punches we have, which we can't buy or rebuild, I can now weld on quite quickly.
Exactly. I can simply repair them by doing the repair right here in-house. A tool like that doesn't break on Monday morning. It always breaks on Friday afternoon. And then try to find a subcontractor, a welder, who will do it for you over the weekend. Maybe there are some, but it's simply easier if I have a welding machine right there that can weld in these dimensions.
That means if I had a device like that, I'd save on shipping, packaging, sending it back and forth, it coming back. And then maybe it didn't turn out clean after laser welding after all. And you can cover all of that with this device, Welder 4 Plus.
Exactly. We're bridging the gap between the large TIG machine and the laser welder. Of course, there are welding processes that only a laser can do, namely welding large surfaces. But that's not our field. We want to solve the small problems that really hurt, where it's down to a minor detail. We can solve those with this device.
It's just edges and corners. Do you know how it is in mold making? A slide fell on the floor and there's just a small corner or something. It has to be repaired immediately. I can see the advantages because in principle I can leave my tool in the machine and repair it quickly. Then how long does it take for an edge like that, a small edge like that, roughly? 3 minutes? 2 minutes? Yes, but I also have to polish it.
Now you can take full advantage of the microscope because now I can really see what I'm doing. When I can work with a Pegasonic system using ultrasound and corresponding ceramic fiber files in the right grit, I can work directly on the surface, specifically the weld metal, without touching the adjacent surfaces or the contour at all because I can see what I'm doing under the 10 times microscope instead of working in the dark or just grinding everything away. Otherwise, I might lose the dimensions and the contour.
But there must be some maintenance costs involved because nothing is free.
No, we don't have any maintenance costs because the device is actually maintenance free. What you have to watch out for is that it doesn't get damaged. So you shouldn't drop it. But it is maintenance free, the handpiece, the device itself, and the microscope too. Cleaning it is completely sufficient.
Yes, sounds good for now. To be honest, now I'd like to try it out.
That's why you're here. Then let's get to it and start welding.
Perfect. So Martin, now I want to see the benefits and try it out.
Gladly.
And that looks quite simple. So what do I want? I want to weld a surface now. That means surface conformation, and these are the basic settings now, right?
Those are the basic settings you have as a default now to weld a base surface with it.
Great. Let's try it out right away and see how it works. We're going to try that now. Nice. It looks beautiful. It doesn't even stick. You can't see anything or any sticking.
That's exactly the improvement we've put into the piggywelder for. We had customer feedback on the previous model. We've really changed something here.
Yes, it's beautiful and the weld pattern is also very nice, but the speed is rather...
But we can change that too by simply adjusting the welding speed here on the front panel and then confirming it. That's also exactly what the customers wanted. A way to change the welding speed right there on the control unit at the front.
And the basic setting doesn't change with the speed?
No.
Everything stays as it was, right?
Everything stays exactly as it was. You'll see the welding result when you weld now. It's exactly the same as in the slow cycle. Huh?
That's incredibly fast now. I wouldn't have thought that. Unbelievable.
And of course, this works with all materials, whether I want to weld iron, aluminum, copper, or other materials accordingly. Every material specification has its own parameters and also the parameters for surface, corner, edge, fillet, groove are all controlled via the speeds.
Martin, that sounds very good. Now I'd like to try something else because you move across it. And if I say now that I want to weld an edge, do I just have to confirm this now?
Correct. You press it and you'll see right here in front that the power on parameters have changed. That means here you now have accordingly for welding an edge, the current power curve, and you can then also additionally change the speed to say, I want to weld slowly, medium, or very fast, this edge.
And yet the basic setting remains the same now for the edge?
Exactly.
Nice. Thanks, Martin.
You're welcome.